Rare Gem Productions proudly presents Entrepreneurially Thinking. Entrepreneurially Thinking is a presentation of BioSTL and CET, the Center for Emerging Technologies, changing the way you view new ventures and activating your entrepreneurial mindset, empowering you to create new pathways for business success in the St. Louis marketplace and beyond. Here's your hosts, Cheryl and Christy. Now let's get thinking entrepreneurially.
Welcome back to the Entrepreneurially Thinking Podcast. I'm Christy Maxfield.
And I'm Dr. Cheryl Watkins-Moore. I lead BioSTL's STEM Entrepreneurial Inclusion Initiative here for the region. Hey, lady.
How are you?
Season 10.
Yes, which means, and when you do 13 shows a season, that means we're closing in on 130 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah. Somebody was like, so how many episodes did you do a week? I'm like, 2, and that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Even though we could sit and talk all day long.
Well,
so
that's
not
different.
a big difference.
Come on now. You know that's different.
And we have such great conversations with great guests. That's
we do.
what it is.
And we can keep having those conversations thanks to our founding sponsors, CET and BioSTL.
Thank you, guys.
So we're thrilled that they continue to support the work that we do. And we're really excited that you guys keep listening and share with your friends. We've seen a bump in the last few weeks of new people finding us thanks to the folks we've been able to feature. So keep it going. Follow us, ETHINKSTL, eThink Podcast. Stay listening. Find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
You'll find us.
I know. So we have so many favorites that we actually have to bring people back.
Oh, we can't spoil it, though.
Okay. Well, we're bringing somebody back today.
We're bringing somebody back from season 1, guys.
She knew us when.
Yes.
And she said yes.
and she came back. Well, let's face it. Traditionally, we're going to get started.
I know, a little context.
Yes. Management consultants are bottom line driven, but not as savvy in the human element. And nonprofit social impact consultants can be so mission focused that they miss the significance of the business model and the bottom line.
You need a little bit of everything.
I'm like, I don't know how you missed that, because I always say nonprofit does not mean no profit.
Amen, sister.
Okay. After nearly 20 years of leadership experience in corporate, nonprofit, faith-based, and higher education settings, here's our season 1 guest, Marissa Paine. She's back. Established Painefree Coaching and Consulting with a deep passion for helping others achieve fulfilling success in mission impact, business results, and interpersonal relationships. So, what does the social work advantage mean for you? Stay listening.
BioSTL is a proud founding sponsor of the Entrepreneurially Thinking Podcast. We want you to know about all the great things they are up to, including the BioSTL STEM Entrepreneur Inclusion Initiative and Fundamentals Program for early stage would-be entrepreneurs in the life sciences in St. Louis. You can learn more about all of BioSTL's programs by visiting biostl.org. And for your renewed and continuing support, BioSTL, we say thank you.
Purpose First Advisors is proud to support the Entrepreneurially Thinking Podcast. Purpose First works with entrepreneurs and the organizations that support them to accelerate business formation, scaling, and transformational growth. For more information about how to work with Purpose First Advisors on business model validation, financial modeling, core messaging, or other growth and profitability strategies, visit purposefirstadvisors.com.
Hi there, I'm Marissa Q. Paine, principal of Painefree Coaching and Consulting, and entrepreneurially thinking is all about ideas and courage, perseverance, resilience, and transformation.
Marissa Paine, founder of Painefree Coaching and Consulting, is with us today.
She's back.
You'll remember her from season 1, so you can go back and listen to all that she was doing then and realize how much, because all we know is that big changes are underway.
Ooh, I am so excited.
There's a new brand, there's a new website, there's new photos, there's new social.
Wow.
And so listen to the original and then tune in to see where our friend has come.
Wow.
So where have you come from? What are you doing, Marissa?
I'm so excited to be back.
Yay!
We are excited to have you back.
Well, I follow you on social, and full disclosure, she is my coach. She makes sure, like I've always told folks, you need you can coach others, but you can't coach yourself. You can't coach your spouse.
So
you got to get a coach for yourself, and then you can just make some recommendations for your spouse and pray everything works out over there.
Right.
Not my problem. But so as I can only imagine now, having watched her on social, that as we were working intensely in some coaching sessions, she was, unbeknownst to me, in the midst of a major transformation.
Wow. So what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Yes. So I will tell you, we at Painefree, as you know, we've been working with businesses and organizations for 7 years. We're celebrating our 7th year May 2nd.
That's
so that's
huge.
exciting.
Making it over 5 is a huge milestone.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And meanwhile, I have passions, right?
Just a few.
And so one of my passions is, helping other women kind of discover their passion and live into their dream fully. And so over the years, I've done, a lot of speaking, and I had some groups in the evenings because I was pursuing my passions. And what I would find is that I would speak to women's groups and women business owners and things like that. And people would ask for my business card and want to work with me. And I would give them my Painefree Coaching and Consulting business card. And they'd go there and wouldn't necessarily see the same Marissa that they saw on stage. And so,
because it was more geared towards helping businesses.
Exactly.
Correct? Okay.
Exactly. And so it's funny. The last time that happened, I sort of had this aha. After speaking, I spoke at the Midwest Women Business Conference, and someone stood up and asked a question, and she was like, "Will you be my best friend?" It's like,
yes, I have time on Tuesday at 2.
Right. And it's only from 2 to 2:15.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much how we hooked up, right?
I was just like, okay, I got to do something about this. So the new brand is like really revolutionary, right?
And what is the new brand?
Yes.
The new brand is, drum roll, Marissa Q. Paine.
Okay, it is you.
You are the brand.
I am the brand, but it leads you to all things Marissa Q. Paine, which includes Painefree. It includes the work that my husband, Dr. James Paine, and I do with couples. And it includes now the work that I do with women and helping them sort of overcome the story that they're telling themselves and really kind of live into their truth.
Wow.
So I'm super, super excited about that.
So you're working with women, you're working with couples.
Yes. And I work with organizations.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful because I've been working with kind of a branding strategist to help really find the themes in the work that I do, and I now identify as a culture shifter.
That's cool.
Because
what
essentially,
the hell does that mean?
I know.
I'm like, it's cool. What the hell does it mean?
But what's the name of the branding strategy?
Well, it's really interesting because at the core, what I do is really shift culture. I'm an environment disruptor. I come into what's happening and I help, whether it's individuals, couples, organizations, shift what's going on and discover, to figure out where the shifts need to be made and make the change. And I've always been about shifts and about transition and about change. And so it really doesn't necessarily matter who the audience is. That's what I do. That's what we've always done. And so it's really, I'm consistent no matter what stage I'm on. Marissa Q. Paine is consistent. And so it's nice that now I can sort of give that card and you can sort of self-select with what you're trying to shift.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because I think when you talk about all three of those different pieces, couples, organizations, and individuals, everybody goes through cycles.
Absolutely.
Right.
But you were saying that it was actually hard for people to see themselves, at least on your website, based on what they experienced for you in person. So what has it been like to help your potential customers, clients, sort through the brand confusion? Because that's essentially what you were experiencing, right?
Definitely. And it was equally as frustrating for me. Because like I said, I actually had to take a sabbatical to really get clear myself. Because
sometimes you have to do that.
And this is the second person we've interviewed recently who has actually taken a sabbatical, like truly stopped, gone off the grid to really. And what did that mean for you?
Yeah. So, because what I was noticing was that I was doing work that I'm skilled at and very good at, but I wasn't happy.
Right.
Really?
Because I was sort of passing on the work that I enjoy, and that was my purpose and my passion for work that I'm good at. And so ultimately I was grinding and almost doing more of a job, and less of the work that brings me joy. And so I had to kind of take a pause. And so I really, I kind of worked with my assistant to start blocking my calendar off, and worked with the team to sort of, put people in place to kind of cover my clients. So I took a month off, and it was, a challenge.
So what did you do in that month? How did you evaluate?
So I called it the Self-Care Sabbatical, and really spent time, number one, just sort of being kind to myself.
Oh, God, so important.
Yes.
She already knows I'm not good at that, so I'm not telling any tales.
But I think that's most women. We take care of everybody else, and we're the last ones.
And entrepreneurs in general, right?
Yep. But typically women, we will take care of everybody and not take care of ourselves.
So part of my goal was to get back into really good self-care habits, with the intention that if I did them regularly and daily, that when I reintegrated back in, that I could kind of maintain.
So what were some of those things that you did?
Good morning routine, number one. Oh my,
I'm struggling with that right now.
Matters a lot.
What's good morning routine? Okay,
having a good
y'all are like
routine
some
in the
doggone
morning.
club here that we don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That really, but I'm struggling with it myself. Like, what does it mean to get up and have a good start to the day?
Exactly.
Right. Because I'm really good at throwing myself right into a meeting and then going for 12 hours straight, but that's not healthy. Or so I've been told.
So, not starting, number one, not starting on the phone for starters, not starting with email, not starting with social media. But really starting with centering, whatever that means for you, prayer, meditation, and journaling, and really defining what the day looks like. I actually discovered some really great apps to help. So there's a 5-minute journal, for example, that I started using, that, is like 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes really, in the morning sort of, and also in the evening. And I really like it because you take like a picture also that reflects the day. So it's just like something, and it kind of reminds you of what, just a reflection of what that day was. But it includes like things you're grateful for and like what would make today successful. So that's nice. And then, of course, obviously eating breakfast, meal prepping.
And that is so, Christy Day Christina.
Why do you keep going back to the maiden name?
I love it. I just love it. So cute. It just flows off my tongue.
Good Lord, I should have never told her.
But I mean, that morning stuff is so important. I told you like months ago.
I'm still struggling.
I started doing water aerobics in the morning, and I get up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, depending on what time the class starts. But you're right. I don't look at my phone. I just look at the phone and say it's at 5:30 and I have to get up. But after that, it's like getting in the pool, taking care of me, and then when I get out, I feel like, okay, the day is right. I can do that. Yeah. Nice. But I think that's really important what you talk about, because we jump up a lot of times and look at your phone, look at email, get depressed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Totally.
Yeah. And I journaled a lot. Like I tracked what was on my mind, the things that I was thinking, the ideas that came to my mind, and it was actually towards the end of the month where I started getting real good clarity about where I was going next. And I was excited about that.
Because you jump into, you're in your business, but you're not really thinking about the business. So you took time out to do that.
Yeah, I took some time to detox for sure, which was nice.
What were the biggest hurdles? Because you obviously were in touch with what made you happy. And you said you were sort of trading off what you were good at for your passion. But I could just hear folks being like, well, just do what makes you happy. But that's not as easy as it sounds.
Well, I grew. And so we grew, and so I had team members.
So you had obligations. So making a big shift was not about just shifting for you.
Right.
Yeah, there were people feeding their families, So
the time that we interviewed you, you grew your business by how many people? Because was it just you?
It was just me, I think, when I was here before, maybe a part-time assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And, now we've got, I had 2 full-time team members and probably 6 or 7 contractors.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's a lot of folks depending on the existing business model.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't, I couldn't just, and that brought with it a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot of management and, it shifts my role, significantly. And I did definitely make the shift. We had a new, there was a pricing structure, if I was on the engagement and a pricing structure for the team. So I was trying to sort of work my way out of the business, so to speak. But people were just paying for me.
Right. Well, you're good. Obviously, you're damn good. So that's what they wanted, right? So how did you bring your husband into this?
Yeah. That's a whole different passion, right? And that's the thing. We're not, and it's funny because I've started to sort of see myself as kind of serial entrepreneurial, to some extent. But for me, because I'm a social worker, right? So it's not bleeding heart, but I am passionate about people and making a difference, like using my gifts to make a difference and to contribute in the world.
And that's what you meant by social work advantage.
That, our work is meaningful. Like we're not just here just for a bottom line.
So what is your husband's background and how did you guys mesh what you're doing?
Yeah. And so, he's back to sort of a corporate work, but we work together with couples and in relationships. Specifically. So we're celebrating 25 years of marriage next year.
Oh my God.
Doing a big vow renewal for that, which is exciting.
That is.
But part of my story is part of our story.
Right.
And, we're coming into empty nesting, which is super, super exciting.
I am right with you. One more year.
And me being in business, there was a time when he was one of the contractors in the business and he's a leader in his own right. And
how did that work? Oh my God.
Yeah. He's a leader in his own right.
But if it's your business and he's a contractor, that is,
carving out that space.
How did you manage that?
And it's funny because, the home life thing and how I've served home has changed dramatically. And he's made the shift, there nothing but shifts in our life. And it's nice to have a supportive partner, as we do that, for sure. Like he's the money manager in the personal life now because I don't have time to do it anymore. And so we just adjust.
But you know what? That's what I was going to say, because that's a great statement that you made, because a lot of times, especially, I shouldn't say especially, there are many men who cannot, they're the head of the household, but then this is your business and they're working somewhat under you.
Right.
So how did that
work?
But
even the shifting roles at home, like I know recently we had a conversation in my house about like, I really need Chris to do the food shopping and he's doing the food shopping, right?
Yeah.
And
it's speaking up.
Yeah. And just acknowledging that the roles we had at the beginning may not be the roles we continue to have today, which doesn't mean we're not contributing. It just means we're contributing differently, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly. And so part of the work that we do together is sharing that story, sharing those stories,
that lived experience of making those negotiations and navigating
well, we're gonna have to make an appointment because my husband and I
I know you're starting to explore what that might mean, and that would be his first entrepreneurial venture as well. And so she may need a team for you all.
I told my business partner,
I said, not able
he
to handle
reports to you. He will not come up through my line.
I'm really glad I'm not doing that. Let me just say.
It is. And that's one of the uniquenesses is that we do it together.
Right.
And couples appreciate that.
So when we come back, I want to talk more about doing that together and what it means to help other people go through shifts, because it's obviously something you're really comfortable doing, but I'm curious as to how you help others do that.
Yay.
CET, the Center for Emerging Technologies, is a proud founding sponsor of the Entrepreneurially Thinking podcast. We want you to know about all the great resources they provide, including the Square One Ignite and Bootcamp programs, as well as the online startup toolkit. The toolkit has videos, articles, and other materials to help you build your business. For more information about CET's programs, visit CETSTL.com. And for your renewed and continued support, CET, we say thank you.
My name is Stacey Fowler. I'm from Slate. And what entrepreneurial thinking to me is blowing the box up and rebuilding it.
Marissa, we've been talking about shifts.
Yes.
Changes. I like shift as opposed to change, because change, everybody goes,
Yeah.
and shift is like, a shift could be a little.
Right.
A shift could be an earthquake.
Shift to the left, shift to the right.
Shifts
Exactly.
do different things. But, you were saying that you're helping women in particular, in that one particular vertical of your business, help them live into their passions. What does it mean to help people see what shifts are possible?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like shift too. Because I think that that's how change happens.
Is
right?
in shifts.
Exactly. The analogy I like to use is like if you're in a theater, right, and someone's sitting in front of you with like the big hair, and so you have to like scoot over a little bit so that you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Or in church with the big hat.
Exactly. But just a little shift opens up.
That's a great
transformation, right? Or joy.
New
it
point of view.
doesn't require like a big thing. And when we're thinking about change, like you said, it's like, oh my gosh, it's this thing. And so the work that I do tends to help people think about it in smaller shifts. But those small shifts that we make along the way can be transformational, right? And then when you make that shift, now you've got a completely different view, right? And so and that's how it's been for me. And once you've got a new view, it's a new view. So now we've got new perspective, and with new perspective, now we're having a whole new conversation.
Yes.
And so I love shifts that way, and that's kind of And in doing, I'm doing it myself, and I love helping other people do it because I'm definitely not exempt.
So when you're having new conversations, what are some of the challenges of helping people see? I mean, having the opportunity to have a new view and actually seeing new things, two different things, right?
Yeah.
So when you're helping people find a new view, what are some of the biggest challenges that you come up against?
Yeah. So I think that openness, and fear, right, are two big barriers. One of my hashtags is be afraid but go anyway. And fear is just a feeling. We tend to give it a lot more power. But I try to normalize it. And sort of say, okay, we're afraid, honor it, right? Because it's there and it's serving a purpose.
Right. It's the protection, right?
Exactly.
Because if you had no fear, you might just jump off the damn cliff.
Like
it's when you said, what are the challenges to shifting your perspective? I was going to say, do you have to sometimes tell people, open your damn eyes? Because you can shift, but you might not want to open your eyes.
I can see your role as a consultant in this adventure just exploding. You have a very particular niche.
A particular set of skills.
Right, this is not
now you can go
niche.
talk to Marissa.
Right, now go talk to Marissa because she will be nice to you. Me, I'm saying, open your eyes.
That's why I love you. Really.
Yeah, it's an edge, right? Like, it's like, what's that edge?
Right.
And I like helping people get to it because, again, when it happens, it's like,
wow,
why was I? And for some people, it can happen fast. Some people, it takes, a little longer, but it's that much. It's powerful whenever it happens.
Yeah.
Why was the rebrand important? Because I would say you could turn the original tag of Painefree Coaching and Consulting in my mind, you could redesign the website, keep the name, and move forward. But
Right.
you very purposefully chose to be
Oh,
out under
Christine.
your name.
You know what? To be honest and fully transparent, the rebrand was necessary for my own process
Awesome.
of shift, because the mission of Painefree is to be the driving force behind organizational success.
Mm-hmm.
And Marissa Q Paine is not behind.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
It puts me out in front.
Yes.
And I really am in this way using my life, my own process as a canvas. I'm having to do my own shift. And this is about as uncomfortable as I have ever been, because I don't like being out in front.
But you like the results that nets.
Yeah, it's not about
For
me.
the others. That's what I mean.
Right.
Like, being out in front means that somebody's going to stand up in the audience and say, "Can you be my best friend?" Right?
It is, because I know that there are a lot of people out there that are living beneath their potential.
Uh-huh.
Why is that? Do you think it goes back to what you said before? People are afraid to step out.
Yeah.
It's
And you're-
scary.
People have a story
Yeah.
and a reason.
And you're doing that to make people, I get it. It's like, I love that what you said about pain-free is behind.
Yep.
You're putting yourself right up in front, in
Yep.
center.
Yeah.
And you're the
'Cause
example.
It's so liberating. And the more, like I say, be afraid, but go anyway. And all you need to do is take a little shift. And it's like, oh, I did that. And it helped a couple of people. And so because of that, okay, I'll take another step. Right. And then before you know it, right. And everyone that's successful has done that. Oprah didn't become Oprah
Without some
overnight.
shifts.
Right.
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 She started with,
Right.
some baby steps. So this is my pre-Oprah moment.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's pre-Oprah. I love it.
So what's on the horizon then after this? You've just rebranded. What's coming after that? You stepped out on faith.
Yes. Well, I said pre-Oprah for a reason.
Well, there we go. That means some platforms that would have wide reach, like radio and television and podcasts and internet and YouTube.
I want to be on the first show.
She's just nodding her head. I'm just listing off media outlets and she's just nodding her head. Okay.
I know, and I can't believe I said it out loud.
You said
and so you said you're using your process. So part of your process is you got to say it out loud, right?
It is.
Now, the other part of your process that I have to admit I rolled my eyes at, she knows what I'm going to say now, is the vision board.
Oh, my
Right? I
gosh.
know the importance of visualizing. I know the importance of putting it on paper, but I really struggle with the vision board.
As do I.
Oh,
Why
my
is that so
gosh.
important?
Oh.
I'm going to give you a platform to preach.
Oh. My gosh.
My God.
Here we go.
Go.
Seriously.
Yes. She's like, I told you and I'll tell you again.
I said, so I've been in business 7 years, and you have to see it to step into it. It's very difficult for something to manifest, and particularly when it's bigger than you. And everyone isn't necessarily a visual learner per se, and so sometimes it can be a story.
Okay.
But there is a vision board. My husband and I have a joint vision board, and it was a 10-year vision.
Wow.
It is a 10-year vision, and it's on our wall. We see it every single morning when we wake up. But it drives our behavior because I know what I'm reaching for.
What you're building.
I know. And so, one of the things I do with my clients is I ask them, what do they want? Right? What
It's
do
such
you
a hard
want?
question.
It's the
such
hardest
a small
thing.
little question. And when she asked me, I got nothing.
It's
And I
so
got lots of
common.
words,
And everyone's
but-
like, I don't know. And a lot of times it's people have either given up because they're trying to figure out how is it going to happen. Or, and all you think about are the barriers, the obstacles, what's possible, etc. But so you ask the question, what do you want? And then the second question is, what does it look like? How will you know when you're there? And again, once you have a vision for what it is, it then changes your behavior. So I say it all the time. I had $1 million brand business, whatever, on my board. And that changed how I did business, what kind of engagements I went after, I accepted, because if the goal is to get to $1 million,
you don't give away free speaker
I can't take $50 speaking engage honorariums, because that's going to take me a long time.
She ran the numbers
to get to $1 million.
Yeah, it will. Yeah,
you won't be alive.
And so
if you do $50,
so I knew I needed to build a team.
Right.
And so now and I'm not there yet necessarily. And now I actually see, because I have 3 divisions. And so I'm actually well on my way to it. And when I put it up there, trust me, I was nowhere near, and it was goofy. And so I may not even have needed to be there per se, but that was what I felt, and that's what I saw, and that's what I wanted. And I didn't know how it was going to happen.
Right.
But that's what I was shooting for. And so I'm a humongous proponent of it. And not just like I think the way some people, when they think vision board, they're just like, oh, these random words, the way we do our process is much more specific than that.
Okay.
So we kind of take people through a process that gets more, it's more nuanced than that, but it has really transformed. And I love looking at it, because so on my vision board is a cook, a chef, a personal trainer, a driver, and a housekeeper. And I remember when I started.
Of each, thank you.
Exactly. So, but I remember when I was trying, because of health and self-care and all that stuff, I started doing meal prep service. And I was just like trying to decide if it was worth. And I was like, wait, I have a chef on my vision board. And I was like, you know what? This is part of the vision. I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's not quite chef in the home yet, making my omelets in the morning like I want, but if it's consistent, it's a decision-making barometer for me.
Yeah.
There's 5 graduation caps, for my children, and we're like almost there. I'm a big proponent of vision boards.
I guess my thing is, I see it in my mind's eye. That's where
She's
I'm always.
I know very particular look from
it's
Marissa
like
right
that,
now, where her
the difference
lip is
between
like,
the wish and a goal. It's the difference of
She's
writing
getting
it down to hold you
look.
accountable for it. I hear you.
I think honestly, you and I need to carve out some time and do it one weekend, because I have the same problem, and I believe her, and so I just need to get over it, and I think we need to do it together to make that happen.
I would love to, because I saw a little corny show one time.
You did?
And I was like, I'm not cutting out pictures out the damn magazine.
See?
And
For the record, I
know
print
what I
Google,
want.
Google images from the internet.
She doesn't do any of the magazine stuff. You can make it look however you want.
Like I said, I might be making an appointment.
I believe she has a website on which you can do that.
I think I might be making an appointment.
It's good.
No, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting to see how it all comes together. And what I really liked about what you said, too, was take a step back and don't worry about how it's going to happen.
Exactly.
Which, even though I can say I'm not worrying about how it's going to happen, I'm worried about how it's going to happen, right? And trying to think it through. And what has it meant to you to actually invest in your company? Meaning, like, you have decided that rather than putting all the money in your pocket, which is, what most of us starting out, we're like, oh, money in my pocket, right? But that you'll actually put more money in your own pocket if you do hire an assistant and you do bring in consulting, but also that you've invested in this brand strategist. Because, again, just talking for myself, making those investments, while I know intellectually is money well spent, is a hard thing to do because I can't see it all, right? And it is almost stepping out on faith. Like, so how has that played out for you?
Exceptionally well. I've done nothing but reinvest in the business, and I'm partnered, so part of my ability to do that is the fact that there's two incomes in my household. But I'm always, adding certifications and adding to our toolkit. But I know, so we're nationally known now.
Good for
I have
you.
national consulting engagements. And so I can see the return on investment when Painefree is known, nationally and national brands are coming to us requesting us. That feels good. It's affirming. And I know it because, or because of certain certifications that we have, we're often even though we serve a lot of nonprofit organizations, we have the credentials that, the Fortune 500 companies have, and that they're looking for. And so, that is affirming as well, and so we're always sharpening our saw, and that, is why I think we continue to grow.
Well, your authenticity speaks through you are walking and talking the process. You've been through it. You're taking yourself and the company through that process. So it lends itself to me, to authenticity on various levels. Yeah. So that speaks volumes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when will you be updating your vision board? How far are we into the 10-year vision?
So we are 4 to 5 years in.
Okay.
And, we actually, my husband, I noticed, I was like, where do those pictures come from?
He did a little editing when you weren't paying attention?
He did. I was like, we didn't talk this our board. We didn't talk about it. And last year I actually did one for the year that I had in my planner. But so it'll be tweaked, but it's still a 10-year and we've done well. There's three actual areas. And so we actually have an event coming up where we'll be, sharing the process and doing the process live with professional women. So I may do some of it then. But the health area continues. I think my Self-Care Sabbatical was a good example. Yeah. But I still got some work to do. But because it's a 10-year, I'm just like, oh, I got time.
But you're almost into year 5.
I know. I have got to get that together.
Wow.
But yeah, we're making progress.
That's fantastic. So where should people be looking for you these days?
Yeah. So social media, our new website, MarissaQPaine.com, Marissa Q Paine on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find us there.
That's wonderful.
Perfect.
So if you're like me, you're following her, you're keeping up, you're watching all the new photos come out and the updates and
that's great.
And if you're really like me, you've had the good fortune of working with her. So I hope that we'll all be in that club sooner rather than later. So thank you so much on your personal journey and your professional growth to taking out time to share that with us and giving our listeners an update and just
absolutely
giving us the opportunity to say hi and catch
Thanks
up.
for having me back and congratulations on season 10.
Season 10.
Thank you. I think we might have to do a podcast vision board.
Ooh. Cheryl rolls
I just got this wide-eyed look from Cheryl.
I love the roll the eyes clients.
It doesn't have to be a 10-year one. We could do a 1-year vision board.
Okay.
All right. We're going to work on that.
Eyes wide open.
And if we do it, we're going to put it on the social media.
Keep your eyes open.
There we go. We're going to shift and keep our eyes open. And then if we get our act together when we do it, we'll put it out on the socials.
There we go. On the Googles?
On the Googles and the internet. We're there.
We are there. Marissa, it has been so much fun. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks, ladies.
Changing the way you view new ventures, unlocking your creativity and innovation, igniting your thinking about entrepreneurship. It's Entrepreneurially Thinking. Get connected and discover more. Visit entrepreneuriallythinking.com to listen to all your favorite episodes and learn more about our guests, hosts, and sponsors. Feeling inspired? Be sure to share your thoughts, questions, and stories in the comments section. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. The best way to show love is to share and subscribe. Let everybody know that you're entrepreneurially thinking.